This is the AYJOIR 2026 massage chair, full body. I've been using this for a while now, so I figured I'd share some thoughts, like I would if a friend asked me whether it's worth making space for one of these at home. The first thing I'll say is this chair is not a small item. It looks like a normal recliner from a distance, but once it's in your room, it's definitely a massage chair. The footprint is manageable, but it's still wide and deep enough that you want to pick a spot where it can recline without banging into a wall. Mine sits in the corner of my living room, and I had to pull it out a few inches so the recline feels smooth and not cramped. Setup was pretty simple. I didn't have to do a complicated build. It was mostly unboxing, getting it positioned, plugging it in, and cleaning up all the packaging. The annoying part wasn't assembly, it was the fact that it's heavy. Mine is about 117 pounds, and moving it into the house was the hardest part. Once it's out of the box, the little wheels make it easier to scoot around on hard floors, but you still don't want to be lifting it by yourself. Day to day, I use it the most in the evening. I'll do a session while watching something, or I'll pair my phone to the Bluetooth and just play music. The speakers are fine. I'm not using it for audio quality. It's more that it keeps everything contained around the chair so I don't have to turn on the TV or wear headphones. There are blue side lights too. I don't really care about them, but at night they do make the chair feel calmer, and it helps me not trip over the base when the room is dim. The massage itself is mostly about the back track and the airbags. On the back it uses fixed rollers, and that changes the feel compared to chairs that travel and draw patterns over your whole back. Here I feel like it's more about landing pressure in certain areas instead of constantly roaming around. For me, that's good on days my lower back is tight, because I can feel it hitting the spots I usually want worked on. It does a quick body scan when you start, and I was skeptical about that, but it actually helps line things up so the pressure isn't randomly digging into my shoulder blades or sitting too low. The heat is something I didn't think I'd use much, and now I use it almost every time. It warms the waist and legs, and it's not the kind of heat that feels like a heating pad on max. It's more of a steady warmth that makes the whole session feel less stiff. If I come home sore from sitting all day, I'll turn on the heat and it helps me relax into it instead of fighting the rollers. Zero gravity is basically the position I end up in most of the time. When the chair reclines and your legs come up, it takes pressure off my lower back, and the massage feels stronger because my body weight is pressed into the back area more evenly. One thing I noticed is after the session ends, it stays reclined. I actually like that because I usually want another minute or two to just sit there and not pop back upright right away. The airbags are on the shoulders, arms, and calves. This part is more of a squeeze than a massage, but it's nice when my legs feel heavy. The chair lets you adjust the air intensity, and I had to lower it when I started using it, especially around the arms. If you're sensitive to pressure, start lighter. Once I got used to it, I started bumping it up depending on the day. The foot section is a big deal for me. There's a foot roller that can feel intense at the beginning. The first couple uses, I honestly pulled my feet back a little because it was a lot. Socks helped. After I got used to it, it became one of my favorite parts, especially after a long walk. The footstool is retractable and adjusts for height, and it does fit me well. But I'll be honest about one thing. It can take a bit of effort to keep it extended the way I want during longer sessions. It's not a deal breaker, it's just something I noticed, like I'm lightly pushing to keep my legs in the sweet spot. Comfort-wise, the padding is firm. You don't feel like you're sitting on a hard frame, but you also don't sink in like a squishy couch. I prefer that because it keeps my back in place, and it makes the rollers feel consistent instead of muffled by thick cushioning. The surface is PU leather, and so far, it's been easy to wipe down. I use a damp cloth, and it's fine. Now, a real concern people have before buying is whether it fits their body. The chair says it's for adults up to about 6'1" feet and 180 pounds. I'm under that limit, and it fits me well. If you're close to the weight limit, I'd take that seriously. It's not just about whether you can sit in it. It's about long-term strain on the motors and moving parts. If you're taller, I can see how your head or shoulders might not line up with where the rollers feel most natural. I had a taller friend try it, and they still enjoyed it, but it didn't feel as matched to their body as it does for me. Another concern is noise. It isn't silent. You'll hear the airbags cycling and the rollers moving. Mine also developed a small squeak after a lot of use, and tightening a couple screws on a side panel helped. While using it, I can still listen to a video or music without blasting the volume, but if you want total quiet, this isn't that. I've tried a few other massage chairs in stores and at friends' places, and the biggest difference I notice is that some chairs feel more floaty and smooth, while this one feels more direct. It's not rough, it's just straightforward pressure. I like that for my back and calves. If someone wants a super gentle, barely there massage, this might feel too strong unless they keep everything on the lowest settings and use the softer modes. So who is it good for in real life? I'd say it's good for someone who actually plans to use it regularly, like after work, after workouts, or if you deal with tight lower back and legs from sitting a lot. It's also good if you want something that's simple to run without messing with a complicated setup every time. If you're someone who rarely uses big items like this, or you don't have a stable spot in your home for it, it might end up being an expensive chair you don't sit in. And if you're over the weight limit, I'd look for something built for that, because you don't want to baby a chair you're supposed to relax in. Overall, I've gotten into a routine with it. I use it more than I thought I would, mostly because it's easy. Sit down, pick a mode, adjust intensity, and just let it run. It doesn't replace stretching or movement, but on the days I feel stiff, it helps me feel looser and more relaxed before bed. If you've been thinking about getting this chair and you're worried about space, weight limits, or whether the foot rollers are too intense, those are normal worries, and I had the same ones. If you've got questions, drop them in the comments, and I'll answer based on what I've noticed using it. If this video helped, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment.